Welcome to Top Trending. Today, we're looking at 100 of the most random yet interesting facts we could find. If you fold a piece of paper 42 times, it would be thick enough to reach the moon. This word here is upside down, spelled upside down. Oxford University is older than the Aztecs. The longest bout of hiccups lasted for 68 years. The average cloud weighs an estimated 1.1 million pounds. More people drown in deserts than die of thirst. When you remember something, you're only thinking of the memory of that event, not the time it happened. The China Highway 110 traffic jam lasted more than 10 days. Cars moved at the speed of 0.6 miles per day. There is always a Shakespeare play being performed somewhere in the world. Every 2 minutes, we take more pictures than all of humanity did in the 19th century. Bees can detect bombs. Humans share 60% of their DNA with bananas. A TI-83 calculator has 6 times more processing power than the computer that landed Apollo 11 on the moon. Every odd number has an E in it. A jockey once won a horse race while dead. 1816 was known as the year without a summer. The longest time between two twins being born is 87 days. Scotland has more than 400 words for snow. In the 16th century, hundreds of people were afflicted by the dancing plague. Dogs can smell cancer. If 23 people are in the same room, there's a 50% chance the two share the same birthday. Potato chips caused more weight gain than any other food. Cows moo in regional accents. Earth is the only planet in our solar system not named after a god. Side note, the person who named our planet remains unknown. The surface area of Russia is slightly larger than that of the surface area of Pluto. Australia has over 10,000 beaches. You could visit a new beach every day for over 27 years. Whales swallow 500,000 calories in a single mouthful. When written down, the word almost is the longest word in the English language to have all of its letters in alphabetical order. The longest word you can type with just your left hand is sweater dresses. Your mouth produces about 1 liter of saliva a day. There's a Starbucks for spies. People used to think that some lamps grew on trees. The hashtag symbol isn't actually called a hashtag. If you want to be super technical, the real term is octothorpe. It's impossible to hum while you hold your nose. The reason the taste of artificial banana flavoring and artificial banana-flavored products doesn't taste like bananas is because it's based on a type of banana that was wiped out by a plague in the 1950s. There are 10 million tons of diamonds on Jupiter and Saturn. Cleopatra lived closer to the invention of the iPhone than she did to the building of the Great Pyramid. Lettuce is the only fruit veggie that is only sold fresh. The biggest tapeworm found inside a body was 35 meters long. Mammoths went extinct 1,000 years after the Egyptians finished building the Great Pyramid. Newborns don't shed tears. In 2014, Netflix spent $0 on marketing its DVD rental business, but over 6 million people still used it. Pieces of the same metal become permanently stuck together if they touch in space. The largest snowflake was recorded to be 15 inches wide and 8 inches thick. The longest living insect is the termite. Horses cannot physically vomit. Bananas can't reproduce. In China 2013, scientists were able to grow a human tooth from scratch using stem cells taken from urine. The least interesting day in history was April 11, 1954. Just two things occurred on this date. A soccer player named Jack Shufflebotham died, and a Turkish academic named Abdullah Atala was born. There is a basketball court on the top floor of the U.S. Supreme Court building, known as the highest court in the land. Beer in Russia was considered a soft drink until 2011. Human teeth are just as strong as shark teeth. A chicken survived without a head for 18 months. The world's most expensive hot dog costs $169. The average person will spend 6 months of their life waiting for red lights to turn green. A bolt of lightning contains enough energy to toast 100,000 slices of bread. You can hear a blue whale's heartbeat from 2 miles away. The inventor of the Frisbee was turned into a Frisbee after he died. Sears used to sell houses. NASCAR drivers can lose up to 10 pounds in sweat due to high temperatures during races. Your funny bone is actually a nerve. Pineapples were named after pine cones. Apple briefly had its own clothing and lifestyle line in 1986. The IKEA catalog is the most widely printed book in history. The cracking sound your joints make is the sound of gases being released. A pig was once executed for murdering a child in France. Someone tried to sell New Zealand on eBay but was stopped once the bid reached $3,000. A Canadian woman who lost her wedding ring while gardening found it 13 years later growing on a carrot. This punctuation mark is called an interrobang. Melting glaciers make a fizzy sound called Bergy Seltzer. Male students at Brigham Young University in Utah need special permission to grow a beard. Astronaut Alan Shepard hit 2 golf balls on the moon's surface. Space smells like seared steak. The longest wedding veil was the same length as 63.5 football fields. The unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. Bees sometimes sting other bees. A dozen bodies were found in Benjamin Franklin's basement. Playing the accordion was once required for teachers in North Korea. Water makes different pouring sounds depending on its temperature. The legend of the Loch Ness Monster goes back nearly 1,500 years. The largest snowflake on record was 15 inches wide. Chinese police use geese squads. A tick bite can make you allergic to red meat. Sharks can live for 5 centuries. The fire hydrant patent was lost in a fire. One man survived 2 atomic bombs. Tsutomu Yamaguchi survived both nuclear attacks to Japan when the US dropped atomic bombs during World War II. Your liver can regrow itself in 3 weeks. A 70-year-old woman completed 7 marathons in 7 days across all 7 continents. America's first bank robber deposited the money back into the same bank. Every time you shuffle a deck of cards, you get a combination that's never existed. Baby blue whales grow 200 pounds per day. Allergy season is getting longer and more intense each year. There is a town in Nebraska with a population of 1. The Apollo astronauts' footprints on the moon could stay there for 100 million years. Butterflies taste with their hind feet. Grapes explode when you put them in the microwave. In 1980, a Las Vegas hospital suspended workers for betting on when patients would die. The Bible is the world's most shoplifted book. In every episode of Seinfeld, there is a Superman somewhere. A snail can have 25,000 teeth. Every mammal has the same number of neck vertebrae, except for 2, sloths and manatees. There is a world record for the largest collection of miniature books, 3,137 unique mini-books. The word oxymoron is an oxymoron itself, Oxymoron is derived from the Greek word oxys, meaning sharp, and moronus, meaning dull or stupid. The human heart beats more than 2.5 billion times in the average lifetime. Minnesota has more shoreline than California, Florida, and Hawaii combined. Shimomechama is a Georgian word meaning I accidentally ate the whole thing. A barista set a world record for making 420 cappuccinos in an hour. Betty White is older than ballpoint pens, trampolines, and sliced bread. The first time a toilet appeared on TV was in 1957. The youngest pope was 11 years old. There are more than 6,000 species of grass. The largest scoop of ice cream weighed more than 3,000 pounds. The gold in Earth's core could cover the planet in a knee-high layer. Radioactive particles from the Cold War were found in the deepest parts of the ocean. Viagra can help plants stand up straighter and last longer. There is a shape with 19 sides, any a decagon. Captain Morgan is based on a real person. There are more fake flamingos in the world than real flamingos. New York City is further south than Rome, Italy. An octopus has 3 hearts. There's enough water in Lake Superior to cover all of North and South America in 1 foot of water. The YKK on your zipper stands for Yoshida Kogyo Kabushiki Gaisha. There are more atoms in a glass of water than there are glasses of water in all the oceans on Earth. Alaska is simultaneously the most northern, the most western, and the most eastern state in the U.S. A strawberry isn't a berry, but a banana is. There's only 1 hole in a straw. The probability of you drinking a glass of water that contains a molecule of water that also passed through a dinosaur is almost 100%. If you say Jesus backwards, it sounds like sausage. There are more ways to shuffle a deck of cards than there are atoms on Earth. You can't breathe and swallow at the same time. German is the second most spoken language in North Dakota. Judge Judy makes $47 million a year. Yawning is biological air conditioning. Captain Crunch has a full name, Horatio Magellan Crunch. The inventor of the microwave wasn't trying to create a microwave. Chicago's nickname, the Windy City, has nothing to do with its weather. The majority of the Sahara Desert is covered in gravel. Movie trailers used to screen after the feature film. Giraffe tongues are nearly 2 feet long. Greeks and Romans used to use crocodile dung as skin care. It takes up to 2 weeks to make a jelly bean. Several Chinese emperors died from taking an immortality elixir. Nutmeg can be poisonous in large doses. Black teeth were a sign of wealth in 18th century England. There is a fence in Australia longer than the distance between Seattle and Miami. May 29th is Put a Pillow on Your Fridge Day. The world's deepest postbox is in Susami Bay, Japan. It's 10 meters underwater. It would take 1,200,000 mosquitoes sucking at once to completely drain a human of blood. More than 50% of people in the world haven't made or received a phone call.